For most of these products, I've used them before. Some of them are newer to me. Some of them I've used before, but I haven't used for a while. So we'll see in this video how I feel about those. I'm gonna use the Glossier Futuredew Oil Serum Hybrid as my base. I've used this product before. This is a gorgeous packaging. This is a sample that I got from Sephora. I've had this one before in the past and I've used it up the whole bottle. This is not the consistency I remember from this. And I have mixed it. Let me shake it more vigorously. You can see it's all separated. It didn't look like this before. I remember it looking like that. So it might be because I didn't shake it very well. I feel like it has changed a little bit. It didn't used to look like this. I took it from the pump. I feel like previously it was a little bit more oily and more shimmery. I have a feeling they have changed the consistency. I was saying for this one, I'm not a huge fan. I have a very dry skin, but I don't feel like this is doing a lot for my dry skin whenever I use it. It just makes my skin a little bit too oily. I do love my Saracreal Moisture Source, which is also an oil serum hybrid. For this one, I wasn't a fan, but I finished this one up I think 2-3 years ago at this point. It's interesting to see how I feel about it right now after I have used the moisture source. So far so good, but I don't feel like it is doing a lot for my skin. And it also is a little bit too oily. Maybe I used to use a lot, but that pump is concerning me. Oh, okay. After a couple of pumps, it got fixed. Now it looks like this. So you have to shake it vigorously. I don't remember I had the same issue with the full-size one that I finished years ago. So they might actually have changed the consistency. It might be because they are out of one ingredient in general in the industry and they replaced it with something very similar. This feels the same, if not a little bit better. So it might have been on purpose. I feel like this one has a little bit more serum, a little bit less oil and shimmer in it. For my foundation, I'm gonna use this Glossier Stretch Fluid Foundation. Believe it or not, I've never tried this one. I've heard a lot of good things about it. And I also have heard some people don't like it at all, but mostly positive reviews. So I wanna try it at this point. This is color light 2. The consistency is very thick, very gel-like, as you can see, and it looks very promising. I think the color is perfect for me. From the brand, the only things I have tried so far has been their cloud paints and their Generation G lipsticks, and this one which I told you about, and also their lip gloss, which I really like, but that one was far gone when I threw it out. It was almost getting like nasty inside, so I had to throw it out. I think I got that one during COVID. I love the consistency of their lip gloss. I'm gonna use my sponge, my beloved AOA Studio sponge, which I have been addicted to recently. This is wet. I'm gonna use my sponge on one half of my face. I think this is gonna look very good with the sponge. I tried to pick up a little bit of a darker shade for summer, so we'll see how this works. This looks good. Not much of a coverage though. Let me try it with a brush. I'm gonna apply it straight to my face and try it with my BK Beauty 101. I don't know, for some reason I thought this has a little bit more coverage. I'm not saying that this is a bad foundation. That was just what was in my mind, but it actually has a very light coverage and it looks very skin-like on my skin. I don't see much of a difference between the sponge side and the brush side. I had an eczema flare-up right here on my chin and it looks like it is not clinging to those areas, so I'm happy about that. This is a very good color for me as well. I'm gonna apply a little bit more to my forehead to see how it looks like. This builds up very well. You'll see how it will look by the end of the video, but so far so good. I'm gonna apply a tiny bit more on here. I want to see how it will look on my skin. Wow, it looks very good on dry patches. It looks hydrating. I have 2 shades of the Glossier Stretch Concealer because I couldn't decide. I have light 2 and light 3. I think light 2 is a bit more neutral and light 3 is a bit more warm toned. This is a very emollient concealer. It is very close in consistency to the RMS ones. This is light 2, light 3. Light 2 is a bit more neutral. Light 3 is a bit more warm toned. Very promising consistency. Very much like their foundation. I think this is gonna be good on my dry skin. What I'm gonna use for the concealer is this Sonia G Soft Concealer Brush. I think this is gonna be a good one, and I'm actually gonna use the warmer shade, which is light 3. I'm using a brush because I always see Katie Jane Hughes using a brush. I want to see how it will look on me with a brush. This is a very emollient concealer, so it might crease a lot. But with these kinds of concealers, you can just touch your face and it will get back to not creasing. I wanted to pick up the Glossier Powder, but unfortunately they were out of stock in my shade, and Sephora didn't carry it either, so I couldn't pick it up. That one used to be a favorite for a lot of people a few years back. This is a very hydrating concealer, as we all know. Not a lot of coverage, but because it is very light reflecting, it actually looks a bit more full coverage. I'm gonna apply to the other eye using my finger. The consistency of this concealer is a little bit more emollient than RMS Beauty one, if you're wondering. And for me, usually with these kinds of concealers, the way to go is with my finger. It doesn't affect the consistency, but it looks like when I use my finger to apply the concealer, it actually spreads very well and it blends better. I have very dry eyelids, so I have no trouble putting this on my eyelids. If your eyelids are oily, don't do that. It's gonna ruin your eyeshadow. I'm gonna use light 2 a little bit here just because I want you to see if this has any brightening effect. I do think these are buildable, but buildable in a sense that it doesn't look cakey. I do not feel like they add a lot of coverage when you build them up. It looks really good on this dry patch here. I mean, it's not gonna hide the dry patch, but it doesn't make it look worse. It actually takes away some of the redness and makes it less noticeable. It feels like I have put on a moisturizer with some color on it. That is usually what my dry patches need. They need a lot of moisturizer, not to moisturize them, but to make the dry patches lift up. So if it is showing up on camera, that's because I do have those dry patches, but it's not making them look any worse than what they are. I put on some of the Alloys of Skin Peptide and Ceramide Repair Lip Balm. Hopefully this will lift up those dry patches until we get to the lipsticks. My favorite part, which are the cloud paints. I have two of the bronzer shades which are newer to the line, Sail and Swept. I have a blush shade which is very old. This is Dusk. It is like from 2019, but the consistency hasn't changed at all. And I also have this one which is a mini size. I think they were in TJ Maxx and they were very cheap. I have Puff and Rise, and I think Rise is not in their permanent line. I'm not 100% sure. If I find it, I will put it in the description box. And remember, every time you're using this, you have to open the cap this way and put the cap back this way. Never do this because it's gonna throw a lot of product at you. It still does, even though I am very careful. This is Swept and this is Sail. As you can see, two very beautiful shades. Let me apply one to this side, one to the other, then I will match them after you guys see the swatches. I actually like using my fingers with cloud paints. Sail is a bit too light for me. In summer especially, it looks a lot like my own skin tone, so that is a color that I can only use in winter or as a mix with Swept in winter. Swept is a better color for me. Online, there is a color between Sail and Swept, but I don't like that color. I think it's called Dune. That color is a bit too warm for me. See, when you're using it this way, usually you don't get a lot of spitting. I'm gonna use my brush to clean up around the edges with sale, I have to use a lot of product to show up on my face. Let me apply a little bit more to my forehead. These do dry down, but not completely matte or completely dry. Especially on top of everything else from Glossier. Everything is very emollient, so don't expect them to dry down if you are not using a setting powder. I think everything from this brand actually needs a setting powder, which they have, but as I said, I couldn't pick them up. Now I'm gonna apply swept to the other side. As you can see, this is a lot darker, but these blend themselves on your skin. Just try to pick up little by little. This has, in my opinion, a little bit more red tones in it. And as you can see, after application, they don't look that different. If you are careful with the amount of product you are using, you can use either of these if the undertone is correct. Swept on this side and sail on this side. I do like the undertone of both. I cannot decide between the two. Sometimes I like sail more, sometimes I like swept more. I'm gonna apply a little bit to my jawline. Now we are gonna use the blushes. I love mixing these together too. Like even mixing the blushes with the bronzers will look really good. I don't like puff alone. I usually mix it with something else. I would pick up the more like a burgundy one. But the truth is that I don't use these that much to pick up another one and waste more product. I have Dusk, Puff, and Rise. These are the three colors I have. Dusk looks very natural on my skin tone. Even though I don't like peachy shades, Dusk is different. It always looks very natural on my skin. And this would be the mixture of Puff and Rise, which is also a very beautiful color. Here I added a little bit more of Puff. You have a lot of options with these colors. I'm gonna actually use the mixture today, the lighter one. You can apply more. These build up, but not as much as you would think they will. You have all seen this. I'm gonna use Dew Effect highlighter in the color Quartz. Believe it or not, I have never tried this one because I always have a lot of products that look like this, but I have swatched it and I know what to expect from it. And I knew it's gonna look beautiful, but the reason I never tried this one is because I have a lot of products like this and I'm not a highlighter person, so I didn't want it to go bad. But for this video I decided to pick it up. Looks very natural. It is a bit more stiff than the one that I used in my Korean video and also the one from Chanel. Even though it has a balm center, this is a little bit more stiff. I feel like I like the consistency of this one a lot more than those two. Don't get me wrong, they are both very beautiful. The Korean one and also the Chanel one, they are both very beautiful, but those two are a bit more emollient than this one. And I feel like this stays on better and there is less chance for your hair to stick to your face. It looks like it's gonna be a very blinding highlighter, but it actually looks really good on your skin. Do you see my skin does not look like I have a lot of makeup on? And to me, it feels like I have moisturizer on, which is what a lot of people want in a day-to-day life. I'm gonna apply this Ultra Lip, which is a lip balm in the color Crest, because I wanna use one of the Generation G lipsticks at the end. These are very balmy. These aren't like lip glosses, they are actually lip balms and they feel comfortable on your lips. I think this is one of their newer colors, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. The feeling is very similar to Fenty Beauty lip balms, if you have used those before. Next one is also an OG from the brand, which is Glossier Boy Brow. I'm not a fan of tinted brow products, so I picked up the clear version. The reason I've never picked this one up is because this has a whitish color, and I was always worried that it might show up on my brows because I have very dark brows. But recently I have used a lot of brow gels that are like white and I have not had any trouble. So we are gonna try it and see how I feel about it. See, that is my problem with brow gels that are white. This is not a brow gel, this is a brow pomade, and this might go away in a minute. But I feel like this is one of those products that will show up on your brows. I have to use this one a little bit more to give you my final thoughts, but this is exactly what I thought about this product. I know that so many people love this one. For me, this is not doable because I have very dark brows and anything will show up in my brows. I know that the Riff one also has a white consistency, and I feel like I used something else recently as well that had a white consistency, but none of those looked like they are sitting in my brows. We'll see after this dries down how it looks, but I have to say this is a clear one that I'm wearing. With this consistency, it might be better to pick up a darker shade that matches your brows. I couldn't find any that match my brows, and I also don't want my brows to get darker. I feel like they will frame my face too much. So this brow gel might be actually for those of you guys who don't have a lot of brows. You might be able to use one of the darker shades and it might actually look good because you can see some things in your brows when you apply it, which might not be good for me, but it is a good thing for those of you who don't have a lot of brows. It might fill in the brows actually and make them look better, if that makes sense. I have two eye products from them that I have never used before. I have one of their monochrome eyeshadow palettes, and I also have one of their shadow sticks. This is in the color Jute or Jute, whichever it is. This is a very taupey eyeshadow palette, and these are very creamy. I remember when they first launched, people weren't very impressed with these eyeshadows. I don't know why. These are super creamy to the touch. Maybe it was the bulkiness of the eyeshadow palette. I mean, for 3 eyeshadow palettes, this is what you get. It is a good packaging, it is metal, and it is cute. I admit that, and it has a mirror in it, and it is very convenient to travel with. Even though it is bulky, it is not heavy at all. But for 3 eyeshadows, I feel like we could get something smaller. These are the 3 colors that are in this eyeshadow palette. All 3 are very beautiful, and I feel like when I first swatched these eyeshadows, this is what I felt like. They look darker on the swatches than what they look in the pan. And the eyeshadow stick is in the color Riff, R-I-F-F. I think these eyeshadow sticks are newer from them. And what is interesting about this eyeshadow to me is that it is actually not a very emollient eyeshadow stick. It looks like it is a bit drier than what we are used to, but they actually are not hard to apply or hard to blend, which makes them very interesting. I feel like the consistency of these eyeshadows are very different than any eyeshadow stick that I have in my collection. Let's start with the eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna use BK Beauty 206 brush to apply this color all over my lid. These are very soft to work with. A little bit of fallout, but not too much. This is BK Beauty 203, which I use to apply the color to the lower lashes. I'm gonna use this color with BK Beauty 209. As you can see, this is a very light eyeshadow palette for what I am used to and I like. These aren't supposed to be dark smoky eyeshadow palettes, so don't expect that from these eyeshadow palettes. I think they have darker colors, but they aren't very natural darker colors. I'm gonna use my finger to pick up this color. They have a little bit of fallout. I'm noticing this color has more fallout than the other colors. Maybe that's why they didn't get good reviews, because they are good quality eyeshadows. Yeah, I have a lot of fallout from that glittery shade, which is this one. I'm gonna apply a little bit more of the matte shade to the crease to see if I can build it up a little bit more. I think this is my favorite color from this palette. So even though these are very creamy, very beautiful, I think I agree with all the other reviews who weren't happy with this eyeshadow palette. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who have other colors and they are very happy with them. So maybe it's different between color and color, but this was the only color that I would wear. So this was my only option. There aren't a lot of colors. Now we are gonna use the eyeshadow stick on the other eye. I am very excited about this one. If this is a good eyeshadow stick on the eyes, I love this color. I would wear it every day. I'm going to use 203 brush, but I've cleaned it up. Yes, this is what I like in an eyeshadow. This is Glossier, not Urban Decay, so I don't expect it to have a lot of impact, but that's what I like in my eyeshadow sticks. I want them to be very natural looking, but at the same time, add some color to my eyelids, and this is looking good. I am very happy with this color and the consistency of this eyeshadow stick. It is very easy to work with, and the fact that it is a bit drier than any other eyeshadow stick makes it very easy to work. And I think it will make it less susceptible to creasing. I really like this eyeshadow stick. I think they didn't have many shades. There was one more shade that I was interested in. I might pick that one up. I don't think I like that boy brow. I think the boy brow is actually a good product if you use the darker colors and if you don't have a lot of hair in your brows and you want to fill up some of the spaces in your brows. This is not for me. I feel like this eyeshadow palette, it's like I didn't even use 3 colors. I just used 1 color, so I don't know if this is worth the price at all. Let me use this color and apply it to my eyelid as a one and done and see what happens. I think the way to go with these eyeshadows is actually to use one eyeshadow at a time. I think I need a little bit more concealer under my eyes. I'm gonna mix a little bit of Sail and Swept. And I'm gonna apply Dusk this time because Dusk looks very natural on my skin tone. I do have an eyeliner from them. This is Glossier Perfect Glide eyeliner in the color Frame. Let's apply it a little bit close to the eyelashes to see how this will look. This is a very creamy eyeliner. You could even use this as your eyeshadow. I'm applying it very close to my eyelashes and I'm gonna smudge it out. I can already tell that this is gonna work, and I have also swatched it on my hand before. This is Morphe M213. Great eyeliner, I like it. I like it a lot. And I knew that I'm gonna like it from the swatch. I usually can't tell from the swatches if I like an eyeliner or not. And look at this. I tried to be really hard, and that is how much it came off. It doesn't come off easily. I feel like these, after they dry down, they don't move, but I cannot talk about the waterline because I am not a waterline eyeliner girl. I'm gonna apply a little bit more of the highlighter. Oh, I love this highlighter. Now I'm gonna use their mascara, which I think I'm gonna like a lot. This is a plastic wand, so I know I'm gonna like the wand, but I am not sure about the consistency, so we're gonna try it. It is not a very flexible wand, which I like, as you might know, and I picked up the color black. I like the wand a lot. It is one of those wands that separate your eyelashes very well. It is pokey though, so be careful. With these mascaras, I usually think that one coat is enough. These are not made to give you a lot of impact. These are made to be natural. This reminds me a lot of that Etude mascara that I used in my Korean makeup video that I really liked. That one was a bit more lengthening. This one is a bit more volumizing, but it looks a lot like that one and it feels a lot like that one. I'm gonna try another coat just for the sake of this video. Second coat is actually not bad. It causes some of your eyelashes to stick together at the base, which I had the same issue with some of the Korean makeup ones, but some people actually like that. Some people like the base of their eyelashes to stick together to give them more volume. This doesn't look bad, it looks really good, but I don't feel comfortable when that happens. That's my problem. So for me, I think this is a 1-coat mascara and I would be happy with the 1 coat. This is 2 coats of mascara applied to both eyes. My lips feel a lot better than when I started. I have some of the Generation G lipsticks here. I have more shades, but I gave them away. I think they were too close for me, so I only kept Fuzz and Malt, which are the 2 new shades. I had Cake and Leo, I believe. Leo was very close to Malt and Cake was a little bit too peachy for me. I picked up Jam this time. This is Jam, this is Malt, and this one is Fuzz. I just noticed that they changed the packaging. It is just the top of the packaging that has changed. I don't know if this will look good with this makeup. I might actually apply Fuzz. This feels drier than the other ones. This feels a lot different than what I'm used to. Did they ruin the Glossier Generation G lipsticks? They already reformulated them once. Why did they do that again? Do you see those dots? I've had these for some time now and I wasn't sure if they have reformulated them again. These previously felt like the MAC Powder Kiss lipsticks but less emollient and they looked a lot more natural. Well, anyways, I'm gonna use the Enhancing Pencil Lip Liner in the color Buff. Online it looked like a more neutral shade, but on my hand swatch it looks a little bit warmer than what I saw online, but that's okay, we can make it work. Almost the same consistency as the eyeliner. I think this color will look good with Fuzz. It doesn't look as warm on my lips. Very creamy too. I think you can use this as an all-over color too. Just like the eyeliner, it does not move very easily. I am putting a lot of pressure. These ones feel very comfortable, very balmy. Do you see even the application was a lot easier? This is the shade Fuzz and you can apply as much or as little as you want. You can build it up to a full coverage lipstick or even you can use a little bit and it will just give you a little bit of color on your lips. I decided to go back to the lip balm. Alright, that's it. I think that is everything I had from the brand. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I could help you decide about some of these. If you liked the video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I hope you have a great rest of your day and I will see you in my next video.